Have you ever looked into the eyes of your canine companion and felt a connection that runs deeper than words? A silent understanding that leaves you with a sense of wonder. If you have felt this, know that it is not merely your imagination. You are witnessing a quiet, natural unfolding, a testament to a timeless truth shared by wisdom traditions for ages. These traditions speak of a shift in global consciousness, a time of profound change that we are all journeying through right now. They have long taught that all of life is interconnected. In this era of great transformation, this connection becomes more visible, more palpable. It was understood that during such times, the bond between humans and the animal world would deepen in remarkable ways. Among all creatures, it is the humble dog that holds a unique role in this shared journey. They are seen as guardians of the heart, here to reflect our own capacity for pure love. It is said, when the world seeks greater balance, the four-legged friend awakens as a guide. They are described as living bridges between the seen and unseen, here to gently teach us what it means to love without condition. From a space of deep awareness, we find that these companions are natural conduits for life's subtle energies. They possess a sensitivity that allows them to perceive things that we may have forgotten how to sense. A profound capacity that becomes more apparent at this specific chapter of our shared history. What is most compelling is that this unfolding becomes most evident when we, as a collective, navigate significant challenges. In times of global uncertainty, accelerated change, and a widespread quest for deeper meaning, their true nature shines through. Ancient wisdom speaks of this awakening in three distinct stages, like a flower slowly opening to the sun. The first stage reveals itself as a profound empathy for our physical state, an ability to sense imbalances before they become known. The second involves a connection that transcends spoken language, a silent dialogue between two hearts. The third, and most transformative, allows these companions to become harmonizers of their environment, capable of calming turbulent energies through their very being. When all minds are connected by invisible threads, a wise teaching shares, referring to our modern world, the devoted companions will step into their true purpose. No longer just animals we care for, but conscious partners in the elevation of our shared awareness. What makes this perspective so deeply touching is the idea that many of these companions choose to walk with us during this era, that they are evolved spirits who have taken on an animal form to support us on our path. Beings of immense love, sharing our homes in humble disguise. But here is the vital point. This is not some distant future possibility. This describes a reality that is gently unfolding right now. The signs are quietly emerging all around us, for those with the eyes to see. Companions sensing illness long before any diagnosis. Animals offering comfort at the precise moment it is needed, as if hearing a silent call. Beings that seem to soothe a tense space with just their peaceful presence. Instances of unspoken communication that feel like pure thought. None of this is a coincidence. It is the blossoming of a new, found harmony before our very eyes. The question then becomes, are you open to perceiving your friend as something far more than you have imagined? Because once you open your mind to what nature is revealing about their journey, you will never see your four-legged companion in the same light again. A quiet awakening is here, and if you listen closely, you might notice it is already happening in your own home. A timeless piece of wisdom tells of a vision where our canine companions embrace a completely new role in our shared human story. I see the four-legged guardians coming into their true purpose. The teaching says, with a profound stillness, as the earth's own rhythm shifts to a new harmony, they become living bridges between worlds. Not simply pets, but masterful teachers in disguise, sent to remind humanity of unconditional love and a deeper spiritual connection. This ancient perspective described three distinct currents of this awakening. The first current would emerge as humanity began to seek a broader spiritual awareness. During this time, our companions would begin to develop their natural abilities for energetic harmony and could sense physical disharmony, sometimes even before we could. The second current would be even more profound. The wisdom described dogs forming a silent, direct communication with their human partners, responding to thoughts before a single word was spoken. They would begin to appear right when their companions most needed emotional reassurance, as if moved by a higher knowing. The third and most powerful current would see them as true harmonizers of energy. They would be capable of soothing negative vibrations in homes, healing spaces, and even in people experiencing deep pain. This was described as a kind of emotional alchemy, the ability to transform sorrow into peace through nothing more than their quiet presence. What makes this understanding so fascinating is the contrast with how these animals were viewed not long ago, when they were seen mostly as workers or for protection. The thought that they could have such profound roles was beyond the consideration of the modern world at the time. The teaching was even more specific in describing the kinds of companions most attuned to this change. It was seen that this would happen in all dogs, regardless of breed, but that animals who had been rescued or adopted would feel an even stronger pull toward their deeper purpose. It was as if the act of being saved awakened them to a higher mission. During that same reflection, a truly inspiring idea was shared. It suggested many of the companions joining families in this era are, in fact, kindred spirits who chose to incarnate in this form to help humanity through its great transition. They are beings of pure loving awareness, living amongst us as devoted pets. This wisdom also included a gentle reminder. Not all would be ready to recognize these evolving qualities in their companions. Many would see their special behaviors as simple coincidence or instinct. But those who were walking their own path of awareness would be able to form extraordinary partnerships with their four-legged friends. The most striking part of this teaching was its sense of timing. It foresaw that the first signs would become clear as humanity faced great universal tests, global health crises, planetary changes, and rapid technological shifts. Exactly the world we find ourselves in now. If a dog shares your home, you have likely noticed gentle shifts in their way of being lately. Perhaps they have begun to stay closer to you, becoming calm just before you arrive from your day, or showing a heightened awareness of certain people and places. These are not isolated behaviors. They are the first delicate sprouts of a new awareness, manifesting right in front of us. Veterinarians have noted a curious pattern emerging in recent times. Dogs who were once merely calm pets have begun to demonstrate an intuition that goes beyond conventional explanation. One compassionate observer of animal behavior documented countless cases of dogs developing what could be called emotional resonance, an ability to feel their person's inner state before it's ever shown on the outside. One of the most beautiful examples of this involves a woman and her golden retriever. The dog began to act in a peculiar way each time she prepared to leave for her demanding job. He would gently block her path, whining softly, and refuse to step aside. She thought it was simple attachment until she noticed it only happened on days she felt immense stress, days that often led to challenges at work. It was as if he knew I needed to stay and tend to my own inner peace, she shared. On the days he insisted I remain, something significant always happened that guided me to re-evaluate my path. It was then I understood. He wasn't being difficult, he was guiding me. But the signs extend far beyond emotional resonance. Researchers at respected universities began to document cases of dogs detecting disease with incredible precision. Not just serious illnesses, which were already known, but also more subtle conditions like blood sugar imbalances, seizures, and even deep emotional despair. The story of a Labrador named Luna touched hearts globally when she started obsessively resting her head on her owner's left arm for several weeks straight. He paid little attention until she became more insistent, nudging and patting the same spot. Concerned by her persistence, he visited a doctor and discovered a small, deep tumor that had not been found in his routine exams. The growth was exactly where Luna had been offering her gentle pressure. Animal shelters also began to see significant changes. Dogs once deemed difficult to place began to form an immediate bond with certain visitors. It was as though they knew precisely which person needed their love at that moment. A shelter coordinator shared, "We began to realize the dogs were choosing their people, not the other way around. They would walk directly to those going through hardship, a divorce, a loss, an illness. It was as if they had a compass for who most needed unconditional love." Another telling sign was the incredible growth of certified therapy animals across the globe. The number of dogs trained for emotional support saw a tremendous increase in the last decade. But what caught the attention of specialists was that many of these dogs demonstrated their healing gifts naturally, before they received any formal training at all. Hospitals reported cases of visiting dogs who could identify which patients were most in need of comfort. They would calmly walk past those who were recovering well and go directly to the bedsides of patients facing critical moments. The nursing staff began to trust this canine intuition as another way to identify who needed extra attention. Animal behavior centers also recorded that dogs started to react to storms, quakes, and other natural shifts with much more advance notice. Where they once showed restlessness hours before, some now alert their families up to 2 days prior. The most profound aspect of these early signs is that they are universal. It is not dependent on breed, age, or background. These special abilities are emerging in all kinds of dogs. From poodles in city apartments to mixed breeds on quiet farms, all seem to be awakening to a potential that had long been quiet. Most wonderfully, this was just the first wave. The signs that we started to see were only the beginning. What was to come next would be even more extraordinary. Imagine returning home after a difficult day and feeling that heavy weight simply dissolve the moment your companion comes to greet you. This is not imagination or wishful thinking. It is the manifestation of an ability that our animal friends are rapidly developing. The capacity to act as true harmonizers of energy. One thoughtful biologist, a researcher of unexplained natural phenomena, has spent over a decade documenting cases of dogs who exhibit abilities far beyond our current scientific models. His observations revealed that companions all over the world are developing a remarkable sensitivity to both perceive and calm unsettled energies in their surroundings and in people. One of the most well-documented cases involved a family in England. After moving into an old home, every family member began to feel unsettled, experiencing troubled sleep and a persistent sense of unease. The family's German Shepherd Max started a very particular routine. Every night, he would slowly walk through the house, pausing in specific spots where he would stand completely still for minutes at a time, as if tending to something unseen. Max had a kind of nightly ritual his human companion shared. He would breathe deeply in certain corners, sometimes letting out a soft whine, and then he would shake his entire body as if releasing something. After his nightly rounds, we all began to sleep peacefully. The family invited a specialist in environmental energy to assess their home. The specialist confirmed there were several pockets of stagnant, residual energy in the house, precisely where Max made his nightly stops. After a few weeks of this canine ritual, both the specialist and the family felt the home's atmosphere had been completely transformed. Hospitals and healing centers also started noticing similar events with therapy dogs. Nurses observed that certain dogs could sense rooms with a heavy atmosphere and would hesitate to enter until the space had been mindfully cleared. When they did finally enter, the patients in those very rooms showed noticeable improvements, not just emotionally, but physically. Holistic practitioners have started partnering with these sensitive dogs to deepen their treatments. During energy work sessions, some dogs have shown an ability to draw in the dense energies being released by clients and then discharge them through simple, natural actions like yawning, trembling, or running in a circle. One Reiki practitioner has worked alongside her dog Isis for 3 years. Isis always lies at my client's feet. When we touch upon a deep trauma or emotional blockage, she will physically tremble, as if she is helping to process that old energy. Afterward, she walks away, shakes it off, drinks some water, and returns completely clear and present. Homes that have been through difficult times, loss, conflict, or separations, have noted that their dogs began to display these clearing behaviors spontaneously. They would walk through the house with intention, stop in the exact places where arguments had happened, and then lie down for long periods, as if they were absorbing and transmuting the energetic residue. Some dogs have even developed an ability to neutralize unsettled energy through their touch. Accounts of people feeling an immediate sense of calm after being gently touched by certain dogs have multiplied in recent years. It's not just a simple pat, many report. It feels like a conscious flow of pure, calming energy. The case of a mixed breed dog named Armando, adopted by a man named Ferdinand, beautifully shows this evolution. Whenever a visitor arrived at the house feeling stressed or sad, Armando would gently approach and rest his paw on the person for a few minutes. Without fail, every person reported an immediate feeling of relief and inner quiet. Armando seems to have an inner sense for who needs positive energy, says Ferdinand. He is never wrong, and the most beautiful part is that after he offers his quiet support, people leave our home visibly lighter and more at peace. This spiritual deepening isn't confined to energy work. Many companions are developing a profound ability to shield their homes and families from disharmonious external influences. They seem to sense when someone with a heavy heart or negative intention approaches, and they create a kind of peaceful, energetic boundary around the home. Social media is filled with daily videos of dogs doing things that seem almost impossible. Companions appearing from nowhere to protect children from accidents. Pets waking up entire families just seconds before a house fire. Animals locating lost people in situations that defy all logical explanation. These are not just random stories. They are manifestations of that third current of awakening, growing stronger all around us. One event that captured global attention happened in a small Brazilian town. A young, 8-month-old dog named Baya began to bark with great urgency in the middle of the night, scratching at her family's bedroom door. The family awoke, a bit annoyed, thinking she just needed to go outside. But Baya ran directly to the room of their 6-month-old baby and continued to bark. When the parents got to the crib, they discovered the baby was not breathing and had turned blue. Doctors later confirmed that without Baya's alert, the child would not have survived. What's most amazing is that Baya had never shown this kind of protective behavior before. It was as if her guardian spirit awakened at the exact moment she was needed most. Tell me your own stories. Has your companion ever done something that left you without words? Some kind of unexplainable act of guidance or protection. A respected researcher at the University of Pennsylvania, who studies the interaction between animals and society, has been gathering similar stories for years. His research includes over 1,000 documented cases of dogs saving human lives in ways our science cannot yet fully measure. What we are observing goes beyond our traditional ideas of protective instinct. The researcher explains, these dogs seem to exhibit a kind of precognitive sense. They know something is about to happen before there are any physical clues. It's as if they are tuned into a flow of information that we are not. This phenomenon becomes even more profound when we see dogs helping complete strangers. In one recent event, a German shepherd named Thor escaped his yard and ran several blocks to a construction site. There, he began barking with great intensity at a group of workers, preventing them from entering one specific area. 20 minutes later, the very spot where Thor had blocked their path, a heavy concrete structure collapsed. Thor had never left our yard alone, his owner said, and there was no logical reason for him to know of the danger on that site. It felt as if he was guided by a specific purpose in that very moment. Before we continue, I want to invite you to consider the Quantum Thinking Challenge, a 21-day journey to help you reprogram your mindset, elevate your personal frequency, and unlock your fullest energetic potential. For 3 weeks, you will receive daily practices to help transform your inner state and begin to attract all that you truly desire. You can access it through the first pinned comment. Now just imagine you are miles from home, and the thought of returning enters your mind. At that exact moment, your dog gets up and waits by the door, even though you keep an irregular schedule. Or perhaps your companion comes to your side. At the very instant you feel a wave of sadness, even though you've shown no outward sign. This is not imagination. This is a very real, silent communication flowing between you and your friend. One biologist conducted the most thorough study on this very topic. Over a decade, he gathered over 4,000 cases of dogs, demonstrating the ability to know their owner's intentions and thoughts from a distance. The results were so profound that they challenged our entire understanding of how animals communicate. His most well-known experiment involved a small terrier named JT, who always knew the precise moment his human, Pam, was on her way home. The remarkable thing is that Pam had an unpredictable work schedule and took different routes and methods of transport each day. Cameras in the home showed that JT would become alert and move to the window at the very instant Pam made the decision to head home. Not when she left her office, but at the moment the thought, "I'm going home now," formed in her mind. We observed this connection for 2 years straight. The researcher explained. It made no difference if Pam came by car, bus, or on foot. It didn't matter if she left early or late. JT always knew the exact moment she formed the intention to return. This silent dialogue is not limited to anticipating our return. Our companions are demonstrating an ability to respond to specific mental requests. A dog trainer in Los Angeles developed an experiment to explore this. "I started by simply asking owners to hold a clear thought of a command while looking at their dogs," she said. The results were incredible. The dogs responded to mental requests like sit, come, and lie down with an amazing rate of accuracy. The most inspiring aspect of this canine telepathy is its ability to span any physical distance. Military service members have shared stories of their dogs reacting to dangers their owners were facing in combat zones thousands of miles away. A US war veteran shared that his dog, Princess, who was back home during his deployment, would become deeply agitated and whine on the exact days he was engaged in dangerous missions. My wife began to write down the dates Princess was inconsolable. When I returned and we compared her notes to my journal, the timing was a perfect match. Neuroscientists at Duke University are studying the very mechanics behind this silent communication. Through simultaneous brain scans of dogs and their humans, they have found patterns of synchronization that suggest a form of communication that isn't limited by location. Were observed brainwave patterns synchronizing between the dogs and their humans, even when they were in completely separate, soundproof rooms, explains the lead neuroscientist. It is as if a shared frequency exists, allowing information to flow without any known physical channel. This shared consciousness also seems to manifest through dreams. Hundreds of people report having vivid dreams where their dog appears with a specific message or a warning about a real life situation. Have you ever stopped to wonder why these transformations in our canine friends are happening now? Why are dogs all over the world simultaneously awakening to abilities that seemed impossible just a generation ago? Ancient wisdom suggests the answer is connected to something far larger than us. A planetary shift in awareness, a raising of frequency that was foretold with incredible clarity. These teachings say that the Earth itself would enter a new phase of its journey in our present time, marked by a great quickening of human consciousness. This period was described as the Great Awakening, a time when both humans and animals would develop their dormant spiritual sensitivities to navigate the profound transformations of a new era. When humanity faces its most significant trials, one teaching from 1943 shared, the four-legged guardians will awaken to guide and protect us through the passage to a new earth. They will serve as beacons of pure, unconditional love during turbulent times. A renowned researcher and student of consciousness, Dr. David Hawkins, developed a scale that maps the energetic frequency of human consciousness. His work shows that since the year 2000, humanity's collective awareness has been undergoing an unprecedented acceleration, moving from levels of simple survival towards spiritual awakening at a speed that would normally take centuries. We are witnessing an evolution of consciousness in real time, his work explains. And animals, particularly dogs, are responding to this rise in vibration by developing abilities that connect them more deeply to our human experience. The timing of this is impossible to ignore. The first powerful manifestations of these special canine abilities began to be widely documented right after 2001, exactly when humanity faced one of the greatest collective shocks of modern times. It was as though our companions received a universal call to begin their mission of spiritual support. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute discovered that major, traumatic global events generate measurable electromagnetic waves that affect the entire planet's energetic field. These waves not only influence us, but they also activate evolutionary responses in our animal companions, especially those with whom we share deep emotional bonds. Dogs function like living antennas for these planetary energy shifts, explains a lead researcher there. They are responding to frequencies that our science is only just beginning to comprehend. The pandemic of 2020 marked another powerful turning point in this awakening. Veterinarians worldwide reported an explosion of unusual behaviors in dogs during the global lockdowns. Animals who had never before shown any special sensitivity began to exhibit emotional awareness, energetic healing, and even premonition. It was as if the collective emotional intensity of the pandemic unlocked something dormant in them. Observed a behavioral veterinarian in Madrid. In just 2 years, I received more reports of psychic canine behaviors than in my entire previous career. This phenomenon is not limited to difficult events. Global celebrations, collective meditations, and mass spiritual movements also create energetic waves that seem to amplify these canine abilities. During major astronomical events, like solar eclipses or supermoons, animal research centers have documented spikes in telepathic activity and healing behaviors in dogs all across the world. Quantum physicists have started to theorize that dogs may be accessing what is called the collective morphogenetic field, a non-local network of information that connects all living consciousness on the planet. As humanity raises its own vibration through challenges, growth, and spiritual seeking, dogs naturally tune into these higher frequencies. Dogs have always been sensitive to the subtle energy fields around them, explains quantum physicist and author Dr. Amit Goswami. But now, as human consciousness itself expands, they are accessing levels of quantum information that allow them to function as bridges between different dimensions of reality. Our digital age also plays a crucial role in this awakening. The very technology that instantly connects billions of human minds is creating a planetary electromagnetic field that may be amplifying our dogs' natural psychic sensitivity. They are, in a sense, literally feeling the waves of information that circle our globe through communication networks. Spiritual centers around the world report that the dogs living there have begun to display special behaviors that are synchronized with global meditations and collective prayers. During events like Earth Day, solstice celebrations, and global peace movements, these animals will spontaneously enter into deep states of calm and meditation. All dogs have become living barometers for the rise in planetary consciousness. Says a lama from a Buddhist center in Brazil, is when humanity unites with positive intention, our canine companions respond instantly, radiating a peace that helps amplify that collective energy. Astrologers and students of cosmic cycles point out that we are in what many ancient traditions called the year of transition. This is a period when planetary consciousness undergoes a fundamental transformation. Dogs, as beings who are naturally attuned to cosmic rhythms, are serving as catalysts and guides for this shift. Dogs are the first to sense the new frequencies arriving on our planet, explains an astrologer and researcher of these cycles. They are showing us what the next phase of conscious evolution will look like: more telepathic, more empathetic, more energetically connected. The urgent state of our climate and global environmental challenges has also activated a kind of collective preservation instinct in dogs. They seem to understand on a deep level that their spiritual evolution is directly linked to the survival and evolution of our own. Evolutionary biologists suggest we may be witnessing accelerated symbiotic evolution, where two species evolve rapidly in response to extreme environmental pressures, developing traits that mutually benefit their shared journey. Dogs are evolving to become our conscious partners in navigating the planetary challenges we all face, explains the evolutionary biologist, Dr. Lynn Margulis. They are developing the exact skills we need: intuition, healing, early problem detection, and emotional support to help us move through this critical time in human history. The canine awakening is not an isolated event. It is a part of a much greater cosmic orchestration, preparing both humans and animals for a new way of being on this planet. Our dogs have consciously chosen to take on the roles of guides, healers, and protectors during this crucial transition. This explains why so many people who share their lives with dogs report a feeling that their dog chose them, arrived with a special purpose, or feels like much more than just a pet, because they truly are. They are our conscious collaborators in one of the greatest transformations our Earth's consciousness has ever experienced. The ancient wisdom about this was not simply about a future event. It was a guide to help us prepare for a reality that is already here. Right now, as you listen to these words, millions of dogs across the globe are acting as conscious bridges between worlds, as energetic healers, and as spiritual guardians for humanity. The question is no longer, will this happen? The question now is, how will you open yourself to this new reality? If a dog shares your home, it's essential to understand that they may be far more than you currently imagine. Recent observations suggest that a vast majority of domestic dogs exhibit at least one of these special abilities, which their humans often dismiss as mere coincidence. Learning to recognize and nurture these abilities can completely transform your relationship and open channels of communication you never thought were possible. The first step is to simply observe the patterns in your companion's behavior that go beyond ordinary instinct. Does your dog come to your side at the exact moment you feel sad, even if you are in another room? Do they become restless just before an unexpected guest arrives? Do they show a special interest in certain areas of your body, which later turn out to be places of tension or a health concern? These are not random behaviors. They are the expressions of spiritual abilities gently coming into form. An expert in animal communication developed a simple practice for connecting with dogs on this deeper level. Simply watch if your dog responds to your thoughts before you speak. Silently call them to you from another room. Notice if they react to your emotions, even when you try your best to hide them. These are clear indicators of an active, silent dialogue. To nurture these abilities, create daily moments of mindful connection with your dog. Simply sit in silence with them for 10 or 15 minutes. Make gentle eye contact and mentally send them your feelings of gratitude and love. Many people who practice this report that it dramatically deepens the silent communication they share with their pets. For those of you who do not yet have a dog, be prepared to recognize when a special soul crosses your path. Companions with these deeper missions often choose their human families through remarkable synchronicities. They may appear at the exact moment you need them most, show an instant and undeniable connection, or come into your life through circumstances that feel like destiny. Entirely new fields are emerging to support this new reality. Professional animal communicators, facilitators of the human-canine bond, trainers in telepathic skills, and therapists who work with human-dog pairs are becoming more and more common. Technology is also beginning to adapt. There are now apps that can help monitor the energetic synchronization between humans and their dogs. Devices that measure the electromagnetic fields in spaces where special pets live, and platforms that connect people whose dogs have similar abilities. This is all helping to revolutionize our understanding of this evolutionary partnership. Your dog may be one of the disguised teachers the ancient wisdom spoke of. And you may be one of the people chosen to be part of this incredible transformation, one that is redefining what it means to be human on a planet where consciousness is evolving at an exponential rate.